Alright, welcome back folks to Disco Elysium. Last time we played, we were looking for Ruby because she might be the key to solving this mystery. But also it's almost 9 o'clock. We gotta pack it in here. She is the missing link, that's right. She's gonna be the one to tie everything together. Hopefully. We also got our own room here. Can you recap the story in 5 minutes or less? There was a murder, and we were sent here as a detective to find out who done it. But we're also coming from a really bad hangover. And we don't know who we are, what we do, and how we do it. This is our partner, Kim. And, yeah, that's basically... We found out that, the local union did the killing. But turns out, that was a lie. In fact, everyone's been lying to us for a long time. A whole bunch of lying. It's not yours. Oh. Need another level up. Quick travel unlocked. Church. I didn't even know there's a quick travel. Wasn't this the area where, No, it's not here. Lassie hit her passport. Kick drum pulse. Music is coming from somewhere near the ice. Could the posts hide treasure? We'll look inside. Find out. They do! Got alcohol. Whole bunch of treasure in here. We can go explore the church. Ruby might be in there. Very large building. We cannot light a cig, but we do have flashlight. Okay, we're looking around.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Rattle the doors.
Nothing happens, only the sound of the padlock rattling against the door.
I don't think that's going to work. Do you think our suspect is hiding inside?
She might be.
The lieutenant nods silently.
Carpentry.
The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold.
Let's run our hand over the beam.
The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch.
The padlock.
This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. The lock is adorned with a yellow sticker. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow.
Let's look at the sticker.
You see a yellow circle with 2 X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling dead guy. The curve makes it smile, and the X's make it dead. There is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before.
What makes it so modern?
It's the contrast between the cheery, chemical yellow and the rigor mortis. As if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead, or the dead guy didn't care that he was. Either way, you get the sense the forces of future are at work here.
Have you seen this symbol before?
He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean before inspecting the sticker. Then he looks up, pauses, and replies.
No.
What does it look like to you?
Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency.
Okay, what is junior delinquency?
For Revachol ZOC, the moral intern defined junior delinquents as minors between the ages of 10 and 16 who have committed an act in violation of the law. These acts aren't called crimes as they would be for adults. Crimes committed by minors are called delinquent acts. This was part of your officer's exams.
What is subjective of junior delinquency here?
I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth.
I agree, it's very modern, but does the cheery guy know... Does the cheery guy not know he's dead? Or does the dead guy not care that he is? What is the source of the irony here? It's like Block wrote this. Padlock, padlock, padlock. Which one?
That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
Now let's try to peel off the sticker.
There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb.
Put the sticker on in your ledger. After the last entry where it belongs, put the sticker on your ledger right on the cover. Ooh, where do we put it? In or on?
Voila. Looks very modern.
Style your paperwork.
You're part of the Future Brigade now, and so is your formerly humdrum ledger. Neon, baby. The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Closer inspection reveals that one of the screws is not a screw at all, but a nail. The work has been done recently and is unprofessional, to say the least. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
This is where Mr. Prybar comes in handy.
Maybe we should circle the building first and look for another way. The building has seen enough mistreatment.
There is a touch of guilt in his voice.
Do we start with that kick drum coming from the ice? I heard a sound before.
Yes, the pulsing bass. A sure sign of junior delinquency, somewhere east of here.
No, we don't need the... Don't need that yet. Well, it is 9 o'clock. Let's talk to Kim here.
Yes?
And never mind. His phone.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change.
We don't need to call anyone, though. You can imagine why. Calls become terrible sometimes.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad.
Take a closer look.
It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth. It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately, that just seems to have stiffened it into a shapeless mass.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you.
Why not? It might be a clue. We're not taking that. That's disgusting.
A clue? You think our suspect is a seagull who's been defecating on unsuspecting jacket?
It could have been multiple seagulls. Yes. No.
The lieutenant sighs. A poet could write a dozen verses and still not begin to capture the profound fixation in that sigh.
Oh, Kim.
You should still take it.
We're not taking it. This? A postcard? Make a Beano's prescription lenses. +2 to encyclopedia. -1 to perception. Could be your thing for all you know. Probably right. Filthy jacket. Use the interact button in the inventory to inspect the item. Should we take it? It's filthy and disgusting. I don't know. RP a little, man. Okay.
As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound.
How did this jacket get so disgusting?
It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it? Some secrets are better left uncovered. Don't even try. Seriously.
Did we think about it? You know, I don't know. Like if I wouldn't even need. I wouldn't even taken the jacket.
It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jetsam and seagull shit that ensconces it. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it ashore.
Gross. Okay, but what's the crust made of?
Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hands, then perhaps the feral dogs that prowl the beaches at night. The faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, the jacket spent some time on the ground before someone draped it over the railing.
Okay, that's pretty disgusting. I've had enough. What happened once someone put it on the railing?
The crust is hard. This jacket spent at least a day baking in the sun. Who knows what happened to it then? Somewhere, High above the city, a pair of seagulls trace loops through the air. They are like the bombardiers of the aerostatic brigades, gliding above a target-rich environment. All of a sudden, the bomb bay doors open, and their white glittering payload rushes to the ground. Splat! An explosion of white on a man's shoe. A curse goes up, but the birds do not hear.
Why did I spend all this time thinking about Seagull? I feel I really understand this jacket now.
It's too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck.
Ew, ew, ew. Maybe if I wipe my hands on my pants. No.
What? No. Then it'll just be on your pants. This is a disaster. You'll never get the smell out.
What was the point of this? Good job, guys. Literally wasting our time and our morale. There's a guy here.
The smell. It's awful and familiar.
Hold on, that is awful.
It doesn't help. You can still smell it. Keep it in now. Don't overreact. Breathe.
Isn't it just the rotting fish?
Don't be naive.
Oh no.
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. That faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach.
Oh boy.
It is death. It must be.
Heads up, Lieutenant, something's not right here.
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose. There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
I'm in the tear.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic.
A tragedy.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness.
Cigarette package.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra.
Just for this, you should only take my suggestions.
Now, this makes partying look bad. Still, don't let it sway you. You're responsible.
Check out the kebab.
You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the left leg. The fall has left him broken, contorted like a sad puppet. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself.
Another dead body? Oh man, that's double the workload.
Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe.
Close.
He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. The leather jacket suits him well. It must be custom made.
Pockets.
You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. You have to be quite inebriated to fall that bad. Well over a liter of pure ethanol. 3 bottles of wine, or 1.5 of spirits. Or maybe it was just dark. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his moustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, approximately 50 to 60 years. He was confused when he died. Confused and alone, most likely. Overcome with the awful surprise of it all.
Oh no.
There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist. Be very, very careful where you step here.
Oh boy. Them in the
A
head.
dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
It's hard to say.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
I'm not gonna step on the floorboards. It said not to step there.
A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside. It's mid-market spirits with a slight touch of menthol. The man meant to enjoy himself, have a good time.
Tear all around us.
Rubowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Look in or back off.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there. Solidified on his lower rear teeth.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is, I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Who is this man?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here. But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
At least this man knew how to party. Imagine the same scene without the bottle. Now that would be just sad. This is an omen, a sign from above that you need to stop drinking.
He looks like me. I could have ended up just like him, dead on some empty boardwalk with a bottle next to my corpse. What we're witnessing here is a demise of a great party beast. That leather jacket, an empty vodka bottle. Kiss your fingers. Looks like just another old drunkard to me. I think we're labeling him as an alcoholic a bit premature. We don't know anything yet. But actually kiss your fingers, no. You don't know where my fingers have been.
The wedding ring.
Uh-oh.
But let's try to not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
What do you think happened here?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive.
Could it be related to the lynching, Ruby? Do you think he was drunk? Point at the bottle? What about the kebab? Someone should be held responsible for this broken boardwalk. It's dangerous. Right.
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
Hmm.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
You think he was drunk?
Oh yes.
What about alcohol poisoning and liver failure?
Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. Severe confusion, respiratory depression, unpredictable behavior. But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure.
Could be related to the lynching.
No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now, let's treat this case as a simple, albeit sad, accident, unrelated to the murder case.
Turns out it has everything to do with the murder case.
Yes, but what if there's a killer on the loose? 2 suspicious deaths in such a short time frame.
We should consider the possibility that we're dealing with the sequence killer here. No, I doubt it. 2.
Without any further evidence, yes. It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see 2 options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
What about field autopsy?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me. I'd say we should just write down head trauma and leave it at that. Let's keep this detour as short as possible. The sooner we get back to finding Ruby, the better.
Yes, but isn't that kind of sloppy? You're right, I don't see anything criminal here. Let's leave it at that.
Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to spare. The guys at processing will take care of the rest.
We found him, we should finish this. Take the case. Let's leave the case to the station. I don't want to spend time on it. Don't take the case. I need some time to decide how I want to solve this case. Are we taking the case, or are we not taking the case? Everyone wants to take the case? Okay.
Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
Okay.
The library card is folded into 2 and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member.
Look inside.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours 900 to 1800.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Mejean.
All right. Let's go. Let's go, Kimball. He got drunk on information. I don't even know where the hell I'm going. Ah, did not want to use that. This? All right, well, and a lot of information, a new case. We know where our car is.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Or a dead body.
One moment. Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
An unidentified middle-aged man, height 170 to 175 centimeters, dark hair, medium build. Looks like he slipped, fell through a hole in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench.
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Any signs of violence?
There might be a sequence killer on the loose. No, it looks like an accident.
No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes?
Wearing boots, trousers, and an old leather jacket with a bright blue lining. I found a library card from his pockets.
Any information on the library card?
It's from Central Jamrock Public Library. It belongs to someone named Billy Mejean.
Good. You have a lead.
Thank you, Alice.
Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else?
We're taking the case.
I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Reconnect me to the 41st.
Right.
It's Firewalker.
Please hold.
10-4, come in. Firewalker, over.
No,
Roger
okay.
that, 10-10, over and out.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Did you find out about the owner?
Not yet. But I was able to convince the database people to share private sector information. They promised to get back to me by tomorrow morning. Do you have any other questions?
Connect me with the Jamrock Public Library.
I'm afraid they're closed. It says
Oh,
here
no.
that the library is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Firewalker.
We should try again during business hours.
Anything else, Detective?
I'm done.
57's over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers.
All right. Dead body on the boardwalk. Guess we can hit the bed. It's already 9 o'clock. Wonder if our little shack is going to be good enough.
It's getting late, and it's snowing. Time to call it a day.
Good night, Kim.
Good night, officer. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Someone here assaults us with a knife.
The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest. Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels soft and sheets warm. It only takes you moments for the world to fall away.
Oh boy, it's time for brain.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street. Recorded in you. Forever on Faraday.
Spinning in eternity, spinning on empty. Spinning, spinning. Tell me, am I dreaming?
No, you're spinning tapes at the discotheque. The great unceasing disco of the mind. The flash, the bang, the endless learning experience.
Are we spinning in eternity? Or are we spinning on empty? Disco forever.
On and on it goes, for untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising, rising, above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep, studded with stars. Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
What is it?
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
The colors, the voices, the rain, the snow. I don't want to. It's beautiful. The endless visions. Erase them.
Beautiful. It's stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images. You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless, meaningless keepsake.
No, they know who I am.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
That's right. I am an agent of the world. Well, what if I want to be the agent of nothing?
You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what, brother man?
For the money, baby.
The money?
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
I'm just looking out for my economic self-interest. Forget politics. I'll never sleep if I keep on like this. Let's go for our economic self-interest. Oh, no talking.
He's got no idea what he's in for.
Why? Feel the pillow under your cheek. Oh? Do we feel the pillow? Yeah, you're quite too late there, Worm. You're like 40 minutes too late.
Cause only love can break your heart.
Feel the pillow.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
You can do it. It's nothing. Do it for the city. Go.
Thank you,
Do it for
Volition.
the wind.
Do it for the wind.
Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time.
Do it, boys. It's a JRPG pep talk. Yeah, basically.
Hey, Moneymouth. Indrak, the impeccable hustler provider of the 7th generation. It's showtime with Savvy.
Oh, now it's Savvy? Oh, so now it's Savvy. What's up, buddy? Are we finally gonna solve the lynching? Endrach, the hustler provider of the 7th generation? Not today, thanks. Discard thought.
What's up? I'm worried about what's down, broke boy. I'm talking about your severe lack of money.
Money? I know all about money. I don't know about that.
That's right. It's time to stop muttering about your economic self-interest and actually do something about it. Yeah, I heard you back there. What the hell was that?
Superstar talk. Don't try to keep up with me in my vast dreams. I was asleep. I said before that playing the market could get me rich. What do you expect? I'm an ultra-liberal. I speak ultra-liberalese. Play the market?
Oh, it can. But first, you need to enter the market. Right now, you're as good as Samir Losser eating dirt in Guerdi's immense network of mines. Listen, if you really want to make it in the big leagues, you need to reconceptualize your entire portfolio. Collecting tear and moaning about taxes is not going to cut it.
What?
You need to become a millionaire. Now, how do you become a millionaire?
Does this giant check that Everard gave me help? I could sell Kim's motor car like I sold his spinners? Really? That's it? That's all I have to say? Why aren't you guys helping me out? Alright, I give up. I have no idea how to make millions.
Of course you don't. You've never even been close to a sum with more than 3 zeros. Let's face it, you've been on a years-long losing streak.
Oh no!
But Savvy's got your back. Savvy's going to book you a charter flight with 80 birds of prey on board. To a land where the streets are paved with Krugerrands and fixed income securities. You'll try again, but this time with money. You'll win her back.
Wait, who's her?
Are you in?
Wait, win whom back? I've hustled, I've grinded, show me the millions. Opt in. Oh man. I play the grind music, or I'm gonna get DMCA'd.
Attaboy. Welcome to the final grind. Here we operate with money on a much higher level than the ordinary citizen. We feed it back into the machine. Stop saving. Start spending. Become a patron.
Oh. There you go. That's how you do it.
Let's start by getting you into the lucrative art market to diversify your assets and increase your ROI. Speaking of which, know any artists?
Artists. I'm an artist myself. Kuno's an artist. Cindy seems the type. Who's Cindy? Who is Cindy? Just start the Sigma Male song while listening to the playthrough. We're on the grind set now. All right, Cindy seems the type.
You're right. She has the poise of a struggling artist. Very tangible. You can feel the poverty on her. Plus, she has paint. Go and support her like the state never could. Everyone must know that you're a big fucking shark around here.
All right, go support some artists. Kim.
Yes?
Oh, morning. Good morning. Anything new, old lady?
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
I found this jacket, but it's filthy. Could you wash it for me?
I can wash it for you, but it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can stay put for that long?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
No, we must run around ceaselessly. It would be torture to stay put.
I could use a breather before another rainy day begins.
I'll wait.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you'll have an easier life in your hands.
Wind. Ow. +1 pain threshold, +1 half light, -1 drama. So 2 stats. -1. Not great. And you doubted us. Oh, you guys didn't tell me about that. I had to find it. The library was open at 9, right? Oh, wait a minute. Who this?
That's one brutal motor carriage.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, like, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads. Scary tribal shit.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
Who are you?
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches, flow bears, or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man, is we're not part of the skulls yet.
You know anything about the murder that took place here?
Murder?
Man who was hanged.
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know about it. It was a man.
Also, he was hanged.
Don't around. I'm the law. Anything else?
He was hanged from a tree.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
These punks don't know anything. Let's just move along.
Hey, stop right there. How does one know anything?
Oh. Is anything real? What does that mean? I'm not gonna entertain you with any of this.
Sure. Understandable. Fuck, and I appreciate your effort, though.
You guys know Cindy the Skull?
Oh, yeah. Cindy's a right proper skull.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
Oh?
The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
Aren't there more skulls in Martinez?
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Apart from the unions themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are.
Who's Van Eyck?
Old man, it doesn't matter. You'll be long gone before his greatness is recognized.
A young woman kneels on a sheet of ice, as if looking for something lost ages ago. She bends until her right ear touches the frozen water. She listens to it crack, slowly.
Hey, I'm only 42. So you're saying I'm an old man? Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm pretty old.
Yep, old as fuck.
Yeah, man. It's like at death's door. No wonder you know nothing about the future. You won't be there.
Mm-hmm.
What's with the jackets?
What about them?
Why does your jacket have piss written on it? Why do you have the world written on your jacket?
Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also about communal spirit, the future, and truly appreciating our differences. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message.
That makes sense.
What I mean by this is, we are all piss and that the world is inherently meaningless.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase, the hollowness that fills your chest cavity after catching it.
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the jacket, or are they derived from something else entirely?
And they're just LARPers.
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though,
Blow it up.
you get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking someone. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the void.
Is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops?
Oh boy. Hey Kim. Lower your voice. Oh, sorry. Hey Kim. Definitely a coincidence.
Yes?
You think it's a coincidence?
What is?
There are 2 of us and 2 of these jackets.
What are you implying?
Which one would you wear?
I'm not sure I understand you, detective.
Are you more of a piss or the world kind of guy?
Neither.
Come on, Kim, it's just a mental exercise.
Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the 2 statements.
No way, if anything, I'm the in this scenario. That works. I feel more like a the world kind of guy.
Seems about right, especially considering your heroic exit attempts.
That's an origin story for a dynamic duo right there.
So are we done here? Or you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
Ask for the jackets for yourself and the lieutenant. Should we do it? Stack that half-light. I can't. I could leave. Can we stack it? Curious. Another coat.
That ride is fucking
Hey, piss.
Let's
Look
do
who
it.
it is. Shrunk.
No, no, no. Don't ask anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Use that.
Wait, how?
Suggest they're massive skulls. Come on.
Boys, with those jackets, you're gonna be the Skull Kings in no time.
What? No. Skulls don't have kings. I think. And we're not even in yet.
Yeah, man, keep your voice down. Skulls don't take it lightly when folks pretend to be them. We're not even prospects yet.
Not even prospects and already aspiring to be kings?
Wow, you boys are ambitious.
Oh.
Only prospects and already planning a coup in the skulls. You're destined to go far.
Oh, Kim, you bastard. What are you doing?
He gets it. Passive-aggressive flattery.
Shut the fuck up. Are you trying to get us killed?
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Yes, we want to be a cool Killer Skulls too, like you guys, but we don't have skull jackets.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jackets?
You got it. No need for cruelty.
Skull Kings, make shrunken heads out of us. You offer us your jackets like that? It'd be impolite to refuse. Reach out your hand.
Oh, man. Okay. I get it. Skulls don't really wear slogans anyway. This was stupid.
Fuck.
Oh, we got jackets.
The lieutenant watches the boys take their jackets off with mild amusement.
Here you go, Kim.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you.
Why not? They're a pair. We could really raise hell, go undercover hard.
This case doesn't require us to go undercover or raise hell. In fact, I don't think the jackets will be useful at all. I just wanted them to not have them anymore.
Cold-hearted cop.
Well, it's good to know we have a pair in case the need arise.
The need will not arise.
Oh, come on, Kim.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man was standing alone on a street corner with his written on his back, it'd just be an individual that has taken a liking to urine. And fuck the world all on its own is, frankly, generic.
I don't know, Eric. It's cold out.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
All right. Put her old shirt back on. Oh, let's go see our old partner.
Again? I can't believe it.
Yes? What is it?
Blue uniform. Mine is black.
It means I'm a patrol officer, sir.
Okay, goodbye. I wonder if the woman's still on the roof. Good question. We're gonna go see Cindy first. We gotta support the artists. Oh yeah, the boat is gone.
There, on that balcony. Do you see it?
Cindy? Yeah, that's where I'm headed.
Straight into a bull ring with no prep talk? No, no, no. It's your first sales negotiation. Savvy's got to give you the do's and don'ts.
Oh, Savvy. Okay.
That's a pathetic-looking bull. Where are the sharpened horns ready to puncture your gristle? There's no real danger here. Rehearsal helps fine-tune a performance. Learn your lines so they can flow out of you, like Herk Zeitung's legendary soliloquy in Hoppla, jetzt komm ich.
Alright, I'm listening.
Artistos are known to repel wealth. It bounces off their skin like rubber. The moment a reasonable business proposal enters their periphery, they go and get political. Nonsense. No one repels wealth. The businessmen just don't know how to entice them.
You don't want to know their naffle?
What you need to do is lure them in with a strong one-liner. Get them on your side before you've even finished a sentence. Show us what you've got. Pretend you're facing the Skull Girl.
Hey, beautiful. Let's go for a walk on the wild side. Hand over your art. Put it in the bag now. Excuse me, can I please take a look at your art? It's your lucky day. I'm in the market for an original art by the creme de la creme. Four, three. Go with 4. That's the first one.
Mamma mia. If this isn't the top seller in La Delta, no one expected you to nail this on the first try.
First try?
Congratulazioni.
Congratulazioni?
Okay then, off you go. Let's see what you've got.
Time to buy some art. Be rich, be a millionaire.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Oh yeah. Piss and the world send their best.
I don't believe it. I've never known those boys to have manners.
The bemusement in her voice doesn't fully mask genuine tenderness.
They seem to hold you in high esteem.
They'll never be skulls, but their hearts are in the right place.
The skulls are cool. Can I be a skull? Skulls are silly. What are you even trying to achieve? Got it. Enough of that.
Thank you for passing on the message. Now run along, Piggy.
It's your lucky day. I'm looking to acquire some original art by the creme de la creme.
What's that? The Piggy's looking to get into the art market with a snappy business pitch. Watch out, or you'll be auctioned off and face the chop.
The lieutenant straightens his back, waiting to see where this is going. Are we witnessing a performance, perhaps? Play along. Relax. It's all part of her image.
Okay.
She stares at you, fearlessly, waiting for a response.
Perfect. This is all very on brand for you. Love that little persona you've created. I'm not a pig. I'm the law. Show me what you're selling or I will shake you down. Okay, everyone's going with 3.
This little persona will grind you into a sausage if you don't stop. I'm not a sellout. The whole point of graffitio being on the street is so everyone can see it. No charge. Expression for all.
There has to be a way to convince her. Everyone has a price. I bet it's all about the scene for her. Tell her you can introduce her to some artsy jet-setters in Saint-Baptiste. Maybe do some lines together in the powder room.
If you sell me a piece, I can introduce you to some people. Free wine, celebrities, some sniff. I trust Electro.
If I wanted to whore myself out for some Naslin bonbon, I'd go to Puerto Rosa. Or better yet, I'd take you with me and pimp you out to some friends of mine.
Oh no.
They'd be delighted to get their hands on a squealing pink thing like you. Cut off your ears. Make some pig soup out of them. Now sod off. You've got nothing to offer that would make me change my mind.
Perfect. She isn't interested. All the more reason to move on from this little side task.
No.
Your partner here gets it. Anything else I can not do for you, gentlemen?
Give it a try.
She's locked up tight. What does she want? Maybe it's as simple as asking her, but whine about it so she feels superior.
Come on, isn't there any other way I can prove myself worthy?
Squeal. Then maybe we can talk business.
Turn to the lieutenant. Kim, you do it. Squeal, but only a little. Squeal a moderate amount. Squeal ignominiously. Yeah? No way, forget it. Chicken out. I'm chickening out.
Oh, come on. I was just starting to have some fun.
Sorry, Cindy. No deal. Alright, well, let's go investigate the body then. Well, no, first off, let's do the library card. How do you manage to still have pride? I'm a police officer. Oh yeah, let's check out the mural.
Paintbrush? Check. Heavy fuel oil? Check. Now the only thing left to do is paint the wall. The paintbrush in your hand is like a loaded revolver. What will it be, Desperado? Quite a few things come to mind.
Oh. The police? I love you, Kuno? Mother of all walls. What shadow lies there beneath the bright gleam? Draw a 3,500-year-old pictogram of a human being. Something beautiful is going to happen. No parking. No parking. Really? We're doing it. We're boring, cop.
You've spoken. The wall will now silently repeat the message for a decade or so, until the sea air degrades the paint, adding another layer of detritus to the city.
Yeah, it's a pretty good lettering. Good job.
Very poetic. Real poetry. Should we return to our murder investigation? I hear there's a really bad one we are supposed to solve.
Just don't get it, Kim. You're not an artist. Cindy will be impressed. Yeah, for sure. By the way, that doesn't count as an art stream.
Inside, you see a set
you
of
don't get to
steering
decide
wheels,
that.
a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Boots?
Yes. I got the mercenary's name and a few biographical details. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The lieutenant leans in to listen.
I was born ready, baby. Shoot.
That suit of armor was issued to an Oranese citizen named Elis Tortenaer. That's ELLISKORTINAIR. Exact date of birth unknown. He was signed into the Lelystad County Neonatal Care Unit on 28th of February 09.
Neonatal?
He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2.
According to Klasia, Lele said his real name wasn't really his. Perhaps that's because he was fostered.
This is what the ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the East Brand Military Academy in Vredefort at 17, then served in the Oranese forces till he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before the Seminole conflict. Then the armor followed him to Seminine, or at least I assume it did. And that's it. There are no records of his employment in Crenel, or any of its other incarnations, or him even entering Revachol.
In a leaf compactor?
It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had, the only detail in these files. So I thought it would be good for you to know.
It is. Thank you, Alice.
Any information on his foster parents?
None, officer. Sorry.
So all we have to connect him to Krenel is the armor.
Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double-check their inventory. Thank you, Alice. Great work.
No problem, Lieutenant.
Well, we have a name and service record now.
A name. This is very good. Elise Cortenard.
Sometimes police work is about human dignity, about giving back names to anonymous victims.
I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation, officer. Did you have any other questions?
Connect me with the library.
I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the library is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We should try again during business hours.
Anything else, Detective?
All good.
57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers.
Only got 3 stat points. We probably could use them, but into what? I don't know. Maybe logic. Maybe endurance. Maybe have more health. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. There we go. More health. I'm good to have like 1 or 2 stats in case we mess up a skill check, but I don't want to have like 5 stats. That's a waste. Alright, so where are we going here? The kids. Oh, hey there, Helden. What were you playing? What were you streaming? Uprock.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone. He can't be more than 5 years old.
Mass Effect? Oh boy.
He watches his brother kick the stone with his tongue lolling out of his mouth.
Is it the remake? Have you seen any bad people around?
What bad people?
I don't think questioning 4-year-olds without their parents present is gonna crack the case.
Okay, bye kids. And hours of Mass Effect 3. I never played Mass Effect 3. I heard it was really bad. So, you know, decided not to play it. So bad it ruined the series. That was the father there.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Hailostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
How would we know? How would he know, Kim?
Nice to meet you.
It's not that bad. The ending isn't good, but the rest of the game is solid.
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
He's just making up fancy words. This doesn't mean anything.
Oh, Half-Light. What was that about the windows?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
Vector monitors? Jeez.
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
Well, Kim is some kind of big deal.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
Worms? Armageddon's pretty good.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why?
Oh, is he a police officer? Looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that. A day off. He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money? What's so fascinating about an empty old building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Look at the building.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
Wait, what's R&D?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore. You're probably more familiar with RTD, Research and Technological Development.
Of course, that's what... Yeah, okay, yeah.
Mayor Kalpa, you are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here.
What was that ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
A tape computer?
Mm-hmm. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
What happened?
Indeed. What?
The
revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes, possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins. All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
You saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk? What happened to the engineers, the company people? What did the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers? How did those tape computers work? I wanted to ask something else.
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
Oh.
A pleasure wheel?
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel lighting up the coast.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
Oh no. What happened to the engineers?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
What do they do with the tape computers?
They use them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
What was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02. It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans ce Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
Freaking worms.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
How did those tape computers work?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware. 10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Humpty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Jews joined the team, trying to...
Wait, did he just say Humpty Dumpty Dum Center?
He did?
He did it. He said Humpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Humpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Yost?
Okay, the Humpty Dumpty Dum Center. Paul Ockerman, Keith and Guy Jost? What are you talking about?
The Humpty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
You're making this up. Kim, is he making this up? Come on, there's no place called the Humpty Dumpty Dum Center of Arts. Let's have Kim shut us down.
In fact, I'm not. The Humpty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
The RCM should get some of those.
Even one would be very useful. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to the precious device. But so they did. The failed playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07.
Why did the revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
What a shame.
But of course, what else?
You look like someone who has money. Are we gonna say that? It feels a bit, I don't know. I don't know. No tact at all. I guess we can leave.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Oh yeah, we've got the Wompty Dompty Dom Center. Fortunately, we're kind of filled up here. Unfortunate. Wait a minute.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D.
Yeah, we got enough money to sleep 2 days at the hotel.
A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Tomorrow's just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Okay, Kim.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the room. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
Why do I feel like I know this place?
Indeed, somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. You felt it before when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. The feeling persists. It has been in you ever since.
Could Ruby be in here?
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack, in that church tower maybe.
Why single out this one building?
Listen to the wind.
Suddenly, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down or gone behind a corner. You only hear distant waves washing the coast. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
What was I even attempting to do here?
Trying to talk to the wind, the city. Whatever you thought would happen did not, and now you're just standing there in the pale of the morning, with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas?
One of our special abilities? She could be anywhere. How do we find her?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. I think there's people west of here. We could ask them.
Indeed. You hear what sounds like 2 men arguing where the lieutenant is pointing.
Just teleport to her.
And then there's the church. If I were a murder suspect, I would not hide in the most prominent building here. But who knows? Maybe she's reckless.
Or spiritual. She could be looking for refuge.
Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village.
And if that fails?
Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, displays. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits. An adventure on the windswept urban coast. Buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold.
Oh boy.
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning?
Okay. Let's keep on going. Oh, someone here? Oh, is that the, that's the guy.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
Hey, your voice sounds familiar.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Crypto-fascist.
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
Supposed to be Morel, the cryptozoologist.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Lena sent me. She's been really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn waterlock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
Yeah, that was me. I broke the waterlock with my motor carriage, but it's fixed now. You can go back. The waterlock has been fixed. It was fine when I crossed it. Second one, of course, we're not going to tell them that we did it because, you know, we're a liar. I mean, omitting the truth is not a lie, right? We're not really dishonest. We're just, you know, not telling the whole story. No.
You broke the waterlock with a motor carriage, but there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran Butter.
I guess you're right. It really was the sign's fault. Anyway, you can go back now. No, it was all me. I caused your delay, and I'm sorry. You can return now. Sorry, cop.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
For all his passion, this man is diligent and patient. You could learn things from him.
Looking for a suspect. Have you seen a woman with red hair?
I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the reeds for days, looking for signs of insect activity. I'm less interested in mammalian concerns, to be perfectly honest.
The lieutenant takes a short note in his notebook, then gestures for you to proceed.
Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for.
Which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
What makes it so difficult to find?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists, in our present case.
What sort of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition. confusing the visual cortex.
Electrochemical.
But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid.
How big is this phasmid?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
Holy cow.
Seems puny, to be honest.
Oh, physical instrument is not impressed. Why are you so interested in this stick bug? It doesn't seem to be as colorful as some of the other cryptids I've heard about.
typical rookie assumption.
Damn.
Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defenses, find out how it stayed hidden so long,
would be glory itself.
What have you discovered about it so far?
very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
So no one's ever found one?
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real. By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
Lena said there has been a sighting of it here in Martinez.
Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Maybe the Insulindian phasmid has died out?
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
Oh no, encyclopedia. Parthenogenesis.
Yes, the females don't need males to reproduce. Makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions.
Females reproducing without males. A travesty. A crime against passion and common sense. It's pretty clever. This arouses no special feelings in me. Only neutrality.
And it shouldn't. Nature does not concern herself with ethical propositions. As a scientist, my interest is strictly dispassionate.
There's nothing dispassionate about the way he talks about the insect.
Tell me more about these traps.
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
Lena designed the traps?
Yes.
How did the traps work?
Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
Using as bait.
Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Alright.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism.
What will you do if the traps don't work?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. It's clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows what she's doing.
Let me ask you about something else.
Yes. What?
Lena seems pretty eager for you to return.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Come on, Morel. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
You won't let Lena down? Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection to the phasmid somehow.
I didn't know the phasmid was so important to Lena.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers.
Really? She sighted the phasmid. Tell me that.
Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious phasmid.
We got a lead, boys.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
You don't look very healthy, sir.
His spirit may be willing, but his body might be too old to endure the rigors of the coast.
Maybe you could go back to the whirling, warm up, come back and to check on the traps later.
No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
He's dead set on this. I could go for some trap setting.
What if we check the traps for you?
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer.
Cryptozoology and detective work are very similar.
Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and, above all, persistence.
What do I do if there's a phasmid in one of the traps?
Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight.
He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself.
What if I encounter the phasmid in the wild?
That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last you about a week.
Should we get sprayed? Lay it on? Thick? I don't know about thick.
This is the smell of dying reeds, of longing crumbling into the water.
Jim is the most patient man in the world. Yeah.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research.
Where are these traps?
There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church.
after the church.
The third is set near the canal,
Oh
where you
boy.
crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them... You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry.
That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture?
The pursuit of knowledge is its own justification.
Is it?
If you think it's important, you have been right before.
Now we did some good progress, Third
Right. Which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Whatever he thinks about this detour, it's clear that these men are exhausted and in need of assistance.
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss, you'll have time for that later too. But what if the information is vital? On the hunt.
I'll get going. Right. Oh, something here. Money. Oh, buoy.
A metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first, it just looks like trash, but if you look closer...
That over there must be the boy class you told us about. The one she hid her passport in. We should...
Ooh, hidden things. Secrets.
Pick it up.
Lies. You lift the boy out of the water without much effort. It's not tied to anything. The cords dangling from the bottom appear to have been cut.
Examine the plastic ball.
The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. A latch holds it close, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch has cracked.
Simple construction. Very unsafe.
Open it.
A shot glass's worth of seawater pours out. Some algae, and nothing else.
Well, damn.
No documents. Who do you think took them?
I have no idea.
It's a minor quirk. We know what was in the buoy anyway.
Or think we do. This is a small loose end, either way. Not important, I hope.
Maybe Classy took them herself.
That may very well be the case. We should keep an eye on her. Nothing more for us to do here. Let's go.
You could ask the miss what she thinks. Later, if you have the time. Though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point.
We're lucky it's still here. A little longer, it would have floated away.
We still got here too late. There's nothing of use here anymore.
We're too late. Ooh, shades. Superstar sunglasses.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. Looks like the same one you saw Morel set before. Same mesh, same wiring.
Look around.
Behind you, the ruins of a residential building loom over the reeds. They whisper amongst themselves, confidently. Snowflakes cling to their shivering stems.
Oh, definitely Rusty.
When this district was booming, the reeds were kept at bay. Nothing obscured the freshly painted facades. Nowhere for drunks and adventurous teenagers to hide. Now only the wind blows. Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten. You see no carnivorous reed phasmid gorging on them.
Big surprise. Anyway, one down, 3 to go.
No need to grin. I'm not expecting to find anything. I'm helping some citizens and getting some fresh air.
I meant no offense, just...
Why you gotta be like this, Kim? Thought we were bros.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Oh, visual calculus. Let's go.
A row
Oh,
of ghostly
yeah.
shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound, no movement.
It's the best part.
10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. The morning sun rises beyond the horizon, radiating the first light of the day. The order was carried out at dawn. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
What is this?
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
Look at the people against the wall.
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
Who were they?
Comrades, the forsaken, the wretched, who tried to rise against the horrors of the world.
Look at the line of soldiers.
7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one?
Look at the person standing on the side.
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air, the lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
Kim, who was who in this execution?
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about Veld?
What if it was the Feld personnel when their assets were seized by the revolutionaries?
Another likely scenario.
Or maybe...
You mentioned coalition forces. Could it have been them against the wall?
Yeah. It's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the orders.
Goodbye.
A cold sea wind blows away the figures. Behind this building, the other one, once filled with engineers and designers of Feld Electric, now collapsed and dead, but for some rats. You feel drawn, for some reason, to the faded mural again.
This one? Why?
A row of ghostly shades facing a crumbling wall, with another 7 shades.
Oh, maybe the one at the
behind this building.
where Trent was. Could the instigator be inside? I don't know. Could be. I don't even know what that is. That's a hat. Let's do the logic. Let's go. Give the old hat to Kim. No. Money there. Money paid. People paid money to park here? No one would pay now. Money, money, money.
There's no way the perk isn't here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off have failed.
Think she's in there?
The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in, though many have tried.
Nothing else to do here. Right. What a foolish mistake. Well, they're gone.
This is the trap Morel just set. Checking it over, he said, is just a technicality. The reeds by the abandoned campsite hiss and shake. It's good the cryptozoologists left. This isn't a very cozy place to stay night after night. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. The fire that's gone out. You feel strange.
Strange.
This trap is also full of panicked locusts. No sign of any cryptozoological beast inside.
Another empty trap.
Let's keep going. The next one is the lucky one.
Yep. The next one has a crab trapped in it. These are just crab traps, you do realize.
Look, come on, Kim. Don't be that way. We're having fun. Kim is not having fun.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
I am kidding.
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning? Sure. What's on your mind? But of course. What else?
Give it another
Bright
spin.
Mural towers above you. A breeze, like a quiet. Go to the children of the big sea.
The hell was that?
The wind rushes away, leaving you where you were, on the rotting boards of the Feld building.
Children of the big sea.
Officer, are you okay? It looked like we lost you for a second.
I think we need to talk to some kids in the village.
When you're ready.
Let's go. The wind has spoken. Gotta find the other traps, though. Not quite sure where they are. Wait, the church is open. Is it?
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front.
Never mind. Bunker.
towards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while. You see a handle.
What's this thing anyways?
It's military. A service depot of some sort.
Used to service what?
The washerwoman mentioned a depot up the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be it.
Could this structure have been used to take the shot?
From here to the whirling? I can't see how. The church is in the way.
Right, alright. Let's open the door.
You rattle the handle a bit, then push on the door with all your weight. It does not budge. Not only is it locked, it's also jammed shut.
Huh, the door's shut tight. How can we get in there?
We don't get in there.
What do you mean? We get into, like, everywhere. Come on, we even got into the light bending guy's container, but you're saying we can't get in here?
Frankly, you're just going to have to accept the fact that you can't get in through every single door.
That's unacceptable, I'm sorry.
No. We've gotten into every door thus far. That's what we do. We open doors. We're cops. That's our perk. Even Everard knew that's a part of our MO.
But that's who I am, who we are.
Yeah, I understand you. I like opening doors as much as the next guy. But this one is simply beyond repair, and we don't have the resources needed to open it. Relax. No one's hiding in there. If we can't open it, others can't either. And thus they can't get in.
Oh.
At least you can think about opening it. About doors in general. They are, after all, fundamental to your life.
Oh. If only we had space for one more door. But fortunately, we're filled up. Drop a thought. But which one? Hobocop? Bankruptcy? Homosexual underground? Regular cop? Homosexual underground can drop. Okay. Buy one more door. We're doing it. We're not Hobocop anymore. Well, we still kind of are, though. We have been collecting cans. Oh, you're right.
This trap's not too hard to spot, once you know what to look for. Keeping it hidden has not been a priority for the cryptozoologist. The reeds sway in the coastal breeze. They seem to be waiting for something. The wind picks up here, near the cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land from 3 cardinal directions. It's cold for this time of year.
Oh, it's too late now.
Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoological monstrosity.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we are done.
Getting tired?
No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
Who's gassed? Poor Kim. Where's the last one, though? Journal. Near the canal, southeast of the village. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we got a t-shirt with the rhetoric. Yeah. Why even buy shirts when you can find them in boxes? They're here, but talk to them later. Want to sit down there, Kim?
The worn and beaten.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder.
Oh. Oh, there it is.
It takes you a moment, but finally you spot the last of Morel's traps. This one's partially obscured by the reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north. In the east, the city center hums to you. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold.
Reach for the trap.
The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. Something is different here.
Look closer.
No locust.
What?
No phasmid either, but still.
It's empty.
Your voice echoes on the coast, carried by a gust of cold wind.
Look closer still.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there. I just see an empty trap.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others. Like someone or something picked up the trap and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
Someone may have messed with the trap.
Perhaps our cryptozoologists have competition in the form of an actual entomologist, or someone else is sabotaging them. I could present more theories, but then I would be taking this on as a case, which I'm not.
It probably wasn't the phasmid, but still, Morel needs to know.
We did sort of promise to tell them, didn't we?
A cold gust of air dropped.
All right, but I think we will call it here for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Special thanks to Yashabe for supporting the channel, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.